If you're headed off to the beach or a picnic, or maybe you're just out doing some gardening like a friend of mine wants to do, and you need a little bit of electricity to run your phone or maybe listen to some music and maybe run a fan, you can do that. Here's something I've put together just for that purpose. It's quite simple. It's a shoulder strap from a bag, a 20-watt solar panel, a 1-inch piece of plastic pipe with a cigarette lighter plug in each end of it, and a little bit of soldering on the back side, and that's it. Let's see how we did it. Today I'm building a thing with a solar panel, as you can see. What it is it's just a portable solar panel so that one can plug, say, a fan into it. I'll show you the fan in a bit. I'm going to put a shoulder strap on it so it's easy to carry. This is really a very small size. You can see from my hand it's not very big. And what's going to happen is I'm going to mount this piece of plastic here. I'm going to press these two cigarette lighter plugs in the ends into the plastic, and then I'm going to bolt this on here with these bolts over here, stainless bolts, and run the wire straight into this hole, which you're going to see. I'm going to drill through there, and that's pretty much it. It's very simple, but a friend of mine her mother likes to do gardening, and she wants to have a fan. And so we're going to give her a fan where she can place this out in the sunlight. The fan will blow on her, and there's an extra plug so that she can charge her cell phone or whatever she would like to do. Here's the fan for the project. It's a 12-volt fan, and it's been in another video, but it's just got a cigarette lighter plug like that, and it's got the regular buttons on it and so on. So that's the fan, and when it's all done, we'll put it together and give it a try. I've got to drill some holes through the metal frame to mount this tube, and one of the things you have to be careful of is when you're drilling through a solar panel is that you have something to protect it like this underneath, because when the drill goes through, if it's cocked a little bit and it scores along the back side of this solar panel is ruined. Here's where I'm going to drill through, right there. You'll also notice that I'm drilling not exactly halfway through the frame, because the solar panel is, a lot of this down in here is the solar panel starting about right at that line going down. So if I want to drill in the open space in the channel behind there, I have to move my mark up. So again, if I try to drill like between these two lines right here, I would probably strike the solar panel, especially if my drill is tipped a little bit. I would just go scoring across the back of the panel. There's another thing to notice is right in there, you see that? This frame is actually double walled, and so when you go drilling through there, you want to make sure that you go straight through and not at an angle. So you can see I drilled through this line right here. Here's the blue surface, and let's flip it over and look on the other side and see where it came through, which is very instructive. You see that? Here's the panel, here's the hole, and it's halfway between the silicone bead and the upper part of the rail, upper part of the frame. So yeah, you got to really look at that when you do your measurements to make sure you don't put the hole like through the edge down here, damaging the panel. Can you see these marks right here? That's where my drill bit hit the plastic, so that could have well been the back of the solar panel. I could have messed it up, but yeah, okay, so that's why you have a protection between the solar panel and your drill bit. This is the center hole where my wires are going to come through, and when you do that, you want to make sure that you smooth out the aluminum with a file, sandpaper, whatever it is. You don't want rough edges, so I've already done that. Here's the plastic tube, and what I'm going to do with these pieces is I'm going to solder the wiring on here, and I'm also going to solder this joint in here and this onto here so that they don't move once they're installed. I'm going to set this in here, and then I've got a long bar clamp, and I'm just going to press that in there using the bar clamp, and it's a very tight fit. It'll go in there, but it's not coming out. You don't want to do any maintenance on it, so this has to be a one-time shot. So again, solder the outer casing to the inner part, and then I'm going to solder this center contact so it won't come loose, solder the wires on here, and then of course put shrink wrap on it so that it can't short. And then I gave myself a lot of room between the mounting bolt and the back end of the of the plug. I've got the first one done. So the first thing I did is I cranked this down in here really tight, and there's an outer shield and then there's the inner plug. So the inner plug is in there really tight, and then I put a solder connection here between this outer case and this part of the ground, and then this, the centerpiece, the center tap in there, comes out here, and I soldered all that together, the screw, the nut, and the lug. So that's all ready to go, and then what I'll do is I'll solder the red wire, the positive wire here, the black wire here, press it into here, and then run the wires out of this hole, and then the second one will be ready to do the same similar way. So here I've got the wiring in place. You can see the center. This will go to the panel itself. This will be one of the plugs, and this will be the other plug. And so this will get pressed in here like that. First I'll connect the wires and put on the shrink wrap, press it in place. Then I'll put in the second one. I should have plenty of wire for the second one. Put that in place, solder it, put the shrink wrap, shrink the shrink wrap, and then make these connections to the solar panel. Screw this in place and apply some Loctite on the nuts so they don't back off. And that will be it for this piece. And then again, the last piece will be the shoulder strap. You can see I've got this shrink wrapped and taped, and then I'm going to press it in here. The other one's already pressed in there. And there we are. Both ends are pressed in there. I heated it with a hair dryer to allow the stress to get out of the plastic, allow it to form around those a little bit better. And okay, so the next step is put it on to the panel, and then to connect it to the leads, and that's it for this piece. You can see that this is secured on here now, and I need to run these up, run it through one of these ports, attach them here. I'm going to figure out some way to protect these wires so they're not just like hanging loose back here. Put them inside of a tube or something. But that's where we are right now. And here we are, all soldered in place. I put some shrink wrap around here to protect it from abrasion. You can say, why did I use blue shrink wrap over here? Because I'm out of black. But we're all soldered in place. I left a stub of this in here, the original wire, to block this opening. And then I found this like fish tank tubing to cover the wires with, and that should do a good job. And cranked it in here. So it's not waterproof, but it's definitely water resistant, and certainly will help keep the wires from getting snagged and broken. Here's the shoulder strap I've attached. It's just a shoulder strap from a bag, and this is something you can buy from a luggage store. Let's look at a close-up on this. The bracket here is just nothing more than a 90-degree bracket that I bought at the hardware store for a few cents, and I've bent it. It's not beautiful. If I had a choice, I'd use a D-ring from a luggage store, luggage repair shop. You can buy those, and I couldn't find one, so I just made this. This thing is a heavy-duty key ring you can buy anywhere, and then of course the strap, and that's it. And there's one on the other side, and that is how the strap is attached. Here it is under test. This is bright conditions. You can see the difference between the shadow and the bright sunny. High thin clouds, but right now there's a hole that's allowing it to run about 80%. You can hear it revving up. Here you can see the fan running. It's not really bright. You can see the shadow line is not really well defined. Okay, this is charging the phone. If you can see it up there in the upper right corner, it shows the little electric symbol right there above my finger. And we're running the fan also, so it's doing dual duty. Hard to see outdoors. And you can see it's plugged in over there. Over here, and then the fan's plugged in on that side and the other plug. Okay, well that was it for today. I hope you found it useful and interesting in your home DIY solar projects.